Now, I would have to admit, I wasn't familiar with who Niykee Heaton is, and well, let me rephrase that. I forgot who Niykee Heaton is. She hasn't made a new song in almost 10 years. So when I saw this video going around of hers, talking about her experiences with Puff Daddy and Kanye West, my first thing that made me question was, well, who is this woman? And I didn't know who her manager was, LP. So when I looked into it, I saw LP is the one that's doing a lawsuit. Okay, LP, an attractive woman that kind of looks like Kim Kardashian. However, Niykee Heaton definitely does look like Kim Kardashian, or at least who Kim Kardashian tries to look like. And I thought it was interesting because when I was watching the video, which I will put at the end of this, she was pretty much saying that in the video she was pretty much saying how Kanye was obsessed with her, looking at her style, and wanting to emulate, ask questions, bookmarking, all these other kind of things, which, if the time frame is correct, she said this happened almost 9 years ago. And that was when Kanye was married to Kim, and that's when Kim, right before Kim came out with Skims. And when I look at her post in her music video, the Bad Intentions video, I definitely see this Skims inspiration, even her own past posts and things like that. I was like, okay, so if Kanye truly did get inspired by this woman to help modify and transform his wife to look like this person, maybe she's owed some royalty somewhere down the line. Now, one thing I will say, when I was listening to her story, I'm not saying it's not true, but there was a cautionary tale there, and that sometimes it's better to have a manager that might be a little bit older to help protect you from certain experiences. And the reason I say that is, if you're a 19-year-old woman, because she kept emphasizing her age in this video that she's 19 years old, but if you're a 19-year-old woman and you are at this event, or not even an event, excuse me, at this studio with two famous people, and I get it, they're famous, you believe their public perception they have out in the media and everything else are nice and good people, right? You sit here and view them, you see these club women, studio hosts. You see these women. You see and they leave and you're still there alone with these men. They sound like only men and just her manager. That would have been a cue to leave. Right? One thing and here's another thing. As a woman or a girl, and I don't know if she had a father in her life or even an experienced mother, you don't take a pre-made drink from anybody. That's just basic knowledge. Maybe I grew around people that's been in a lot of shady situations, so I had people that had educated me and taught me this stuff, but man or woman, you don't take an open drink that's pre-made from anybody. If you don't see it, don't make it, or you don't make it yourself, you don't take it. Hospitality or not, you just don't. You gotta protect yourself in these situations. And then also, knowing that you gotta protect yourself. Now granted, she says she went in there, in like a hoodie and sweatpants and all this other kind of stuff. I get that, but like she kept saying, she's 19 years old. 19 years old, that's fresh compared to all the other women they went through, which really gives a very strong implication that Kanye cheated on Kim at the time, which is pretty incredible in itself. So, all these are alleged accusations right now, right? And I'm not saying this woman is a liar, but sometimes you gotta be self-aware of your surroundings and who you're around to help protect yourself, so you won't be in these situations to where you look crazy and scared and they take you away from your dream. Because her song was good. I wouldn't say she's amazing. She's not an amazing singer. She's a decent singer. However, it was more her look that garnered her the attention, I think, because when I checked out her Instagram, she had over 4 million subscribers or followers on there, which I could pretty much believe that's her bread and butter. And even though she had that experience with her friend and her friend and herself still chose to look very, show off their bodies that God gave them or whatever. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. However, my grandma once told me that you gotta dress how you want people to view you. So if you dress in a promiscuous way, they're gonna view you as a promiscuous woman. Now, even though they may view you in that light, and you tell them, look, they do gotta respect that now. I wanna make sure that's very clear that I am saying that. But there are certain little things that could have helped prevent that situation. Like as soon as those studio girls left, she should have bounced, her and her manager. You know, they could have made a new appointment, went out there and they did something else, but they chose to stay. And again, I feel like if a manager was older, had more experience, that's something she would have known, like, okay, we're still women at the end of the day. These are some men that are naturally going to be stronger than us. And there was men plural, not just Kanye and Puff Daddy. Speaking of which, I never knew that Kanye and Puff Daddy had a relationship, right? P. Diddy had a relationship, because for the longest time, Kanye always insulted and never gave P. Diddy any praise. In fact, he always bragged how nobody had anything on him, and that's how he could speak and say what he wants to. So for this situation to come up, I'm kind of curious how many other women are going to come out talking about Kanye, especially if he has the addiction that he says he has, and the alleged lawsuit and the website he's trying to do. He's not really doing anything to serve his image when it comes to not being seen as an assaulter. And being by his own words of his mouth, there was an article talking about how he has a corn addiction. So we'll see how this plays out. I'll play the video. And again, I'm not saying that she's a liar. I do see that she's trying to add credence to her friend's lawsuit, but I will say that what happened to them allegedly, if it is true, it is wrong. However, there's always steps you can take to try to protect yourself. I think that's not a part of the conversation we're ever having. Anyways, you guys like, comment, subscribe, enjoy the video. Have a good day.
I do this. How do you add a moderator? I don't understand. Come on. What? Bruh. I like never do live, so I don't understand how to do this. How do you add a moderator? Because I know there's gonna be some shit in here. Ah, okay, wait. Almost there. Nope, that's not it. I go to the little buttons, right? And it's not working. All right, I'm already so nervous doing this because you guys know I don't do lives. But I mean, here we are. Okay, give me a second. I don't know how to do this. I don't do this often. It's not working. It's still not working. Okay, you know what? I'll try again later. So, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm doing it. So you guys know, like I posted a while ago. I did like a Q&A, right? And people were asking like, what's going on with you? Why did you leave the industry? Why did you fall off? Is the music industry as evil as people say it is? And I was like, it's more evil than you could possibly imagine. And I went into depth like a little bit, and I was like, yeah, like, oh wait, hold on. Let me add a moderator because this is gonna be crazy. There we go, cool. I was like, yeah, I'm one of the lucky ones. I got out when I could. I was like lucky enough to only be like assaulted like twice, and I was fucked with more than that, but it was 2 times that truly like left like an impact on me. And people were like, oh my god, like only twice, like stop diminishing what you went through, like no one should go through that. And I'm like, yeah, all right. And I was never actually going to tell this story, like ever. I was going to kind of like go to my grave with this because, you know, in my perspective, it's like, what's the point? Who would believe me? What good would it do? I don't have proof. I'm not going to file anything. But because of recent events and the things that have come to light quite recently, I felt the need to kind of come on here, and I felt like it was my time to kind of just tell this story. And it's pretty much one of the reasons that I lost a lot of my love for music in that sense, like making it public in that sense. So if you have been paying attention to what's going on, like, you know, like, Diddy has gone down, like, shit's coming out about him. It's kind of like irrefutable proof of the evil shit that goes on behind doors. And if you've noticed, people are accusing Kanye now of the same type of shit. And my old manager, Lauren, has kind of been the whistleblower on the shit that he's done. And I wasn't going to say anything. I'm very proud of her. I'm very, very proud of her. And I'm so glad that she's stepping forward and kind of saying what's going on. And again, I wasn't going to say anything. And then I saw that, you know, it became public. And I clicked on one of the posts that were saying, like, oh, Kanye's ex-assistant is coming forward and saying that, you know, sexual assault and all these things. And I was like, yeah. And then I looked at the comments, and it was like, she's a fucking liar. Like, none of this is true. She's doing this for money and fame and clout and all this. And it made me so mad. It made me so fucking mad. And I, like, started to comment. I was like, you know what? Let me stop. So basically, I'm telling this story now because, like, you guys know me. Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm out of the industry. I left LA. I'm in, like, the middle of fucking nowhere, on a farm. Like, what could I possibly gain from this, right? Like, I don't care. I'm not filing any sort of suit, so, like, I'm not getting money from this. And you know that, like, I always tell the fucking truth. Even if it makes me look bad, like, I'm very, like, brutally honest. So, me coming here and saying all this, if you've seen the posts about the assault suit or the misconduct, anything like that, like, and if you see the things about, like, oh, she's lying, I'm here to say, she's not. She's not. Every single thing that she said in that lawsuit is 100% true. And I know that because not only have I seen all the evidence firsthand, but I was actually there from one of these situations. And this was one of the things that made me want to leave and back out and get out. And if you know, like my, like, day one fans, they've always wondered, like, what happened with you and LP? Like, why aren't you friends anymore? Like, what was the falling out? And there was a falling out, and a lot of it was just, we were in two different places. There was a lot of things going on. And me, personally, like, I had reached that point because of this shit that happened to me where I was fucking done. Like, the industry had almost killed my love for music because of what I had been through. And I had lost my love for it. I didn't want to be a part of it anymore. And, you know, she is more of a businesswoman. And she wasn't done. And so we were in two different places. And so there was a falling out. But, and she had to keep going. Sadly, she figured it out on her own. So let me just tell you guys the fucking story. So, like I said in my one post, like, I've only been assaulted twice. This was one of the two times that kind of changed the trajectory of my life and my career. So I was 19. And if you know anything about me, I, you know, went viral at 18 on World Star and then on YouTube, and, like, kind of rose to fame really quickly. And I was doing rap covers, so a lot of rappers were reaching out to me and asking to work. Sorry, I'm getting real-time feedback right now. Yeah, so all of a sudden, like, people were reaching out and wanting to work, and I was 19 years old. Like, I had just left home, and working with my manager, and we were in LA and doing all these crazy things. And all of a sudden, I got a call one day, and it's like, hey, like, Kanye wants you to come to the studio. And we were just like, what? Like, Kanye knows who I am? Like, what? This is crazy. So we go. And this happens, like, multiple times. Like, you can find it if you go back and find headlines, you'll find proof of it. Like, we were working with Kanye, and he was like, I want to know what you're doing in your new music. Like, I want to hear your tracks. I want to play you mine. I want to know what you're doing with this fashion stuff, because, like, your style is, like, so fucking cool. And if you go in deep dig enough, like, he said it publicly, like, you and LP were, you know, the muse for Yeezy season 1, because like he went back and asked like, oh my god, you guys are like so fucking cool, like you wear like shapewear as real clothes, like that's so dope, like blah 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 blah, and like had his people go through my wardrobe, and he wanted me to be the model for Yeezy season 1, and I went and I flew there and I did all this shit, and I was like, I'm not fucking doing this, like there was something just not right about it. Anyway, every time we would go to the studio with him, it was like, yeah, he wanted to work on music, but there was something just like fucking weird about it. Like he would pull up his laptop and he would have like bookmarks of all of our pages and like our Instagrams, our Snapchat, Twitter, all of that, and like our pictures saved. And even now, like even like a year ago, I'm still getting DMs from people in the industry like, yo, like me and Kanye used to sit in the studio for hours talking about you and your manager, like he was obsessed with you. And I was like, whoa, okay, crazy. Anyway, back to me being 19 years old. This was probably the last time that we went to the studio. We got a call. It was late. We were living in LA. And we get a call and it's like, hey, like Ye wants you to come to the studio. And we're like, cool, like why? And he's like, he wants to work on music. And we're like, that's great. And so we go, and it's like somewhere in LA, some studio we've never been to before. And we show up and walk in and it's we're there to work on music, right? Like that's why I'm here. And we walk in and it's Kanye and it's Diddy. And, you know, a couple of people that we know, men, you know, an executive that worked with Kanye, Kanye's engineer, and Kanye's cousin. And we walk in and we're like, okay, cool. And it's immediately I was like, there's something not right. There's something not right about this. Because we walk in and there's 9 other women there. And don't kill me for this, because this is what they called them. There were 9 studio hoes there. Like I'm all about women's rights, do whatever you want to do, but don't shoot the messenger. That's what they call them. Women who show up to the studio in their full club outfit at the studio. It's like they're only there for one reason. They want to leave with someone who's there. And they're called studio hoes. That's just what they're called. And there are 9 women there. And we're like, that's weird. I thought we were here to work on music. And like, we were invited, like I was invited as an artist and my manager. So I'm wearing like fucking double XL sweatpants and like a giant hoodie. I look like a fucking slob. And like, you know, my manager's there in her usual suit, like black leggings, black zip up. Like we're just like, this is strange, but okay. And we walk in and there's all these ladies there wearing their club gear, and Kanye and Diddy are already like out of their fucking mind. Just like completely fucked up. Drunk, but probably something else. And we're like, okay, but like we were invited as artists. Like maybe these girls are gonna leave and we're gonna work on music. Like let's just walk in and just, yeah. Immediately I felt like there was something weird, because, you know, there's always drinks, there's always, you know, the vodka and the mixers just like sitting on the table. But we walk in and immediately Diddy hands me a drink, Kanye hands Lauren a drink, and we're like, that's weird. Like, why are they serving us? And I don't like to drink. Like I don't like alcohol. I don't like the way that it like makes me feel. It makes me feel sick. So, but my manager, since the beginning, she was just like, I know you don't like to drink, but if someone famous hands you something to drink, even if you don't want it, just like hold it and like pretend, because you don't want to seem rude. And I was like, okay. And it was like a vodka cranberry, and I was like, oh, gross. And so I'm just standing there with my back against the console, just like pretending to sip this drink. And I'm like, I'm not fucking drinking this. This is gross. And my manager was sitting across on this couch with Kanye's cousin, and then the other girls were sitting next to her. And immediately I was like, there's something fucking wrong. Like I couldn't explain it. I didn't know what to do. But I just like felt that there was something not right. But I didn't fucking know what to do. I was 19 years old, like just left home a year ago, new in the industry. Yeah, I didn't know what to do, but I knew that there was something wrong, basically. And I was standing there pretending to sip this drink, and my manager was sitting across from me. And, you know, if you know about like my past and like us being together, like she's very much reserved, and people would always say like, oh, she's such a bitch, she has like a resting bitch face. And it's because she has like a severe like social anxiety. Like she just wants to like sit in the corner and like tap on her phone and like not talk to anyone. So she's not a bitch, she's just very shy. And I see her across the room holding her drink. And it was weird because I noticed as I was standing there just kind of just like wondering what's going on, Diddy kept looking at me and Kanye kept looking at Lauren, and like they were exchanging glances, and I'm like, they're like watching me strangely. And I'm like, okay, let me pretend to drink, and like I'm not actually doing it. And like that seemed to like make them happy, like me like pretending to join in. And immediately I'm like, there's something fucking in this drink. There's something in this drink. And I didn't know what to do. And I like, my manager was like across the room, but like close enough, but like not next to me, so I couldn't like whisper to her. But I wanted to tell her, I'm like, hey, don't fucking drink this. There's something wrong with this. But I couldn't. So I reach for my phone and I start to type, and Kanye takes the phone out of my hands and he's like, who are you texting? Like, you don't need to text anyone. Like, we're having a party. And I was like, okay. And he like puts it on one of the speakers. And I'm like, fuck. Now what do I do? Like, I don't know what to do. And I see my manager take a sip. And I'm like, fuck. Like, fuck. Now what do I do? And then I see her take another sip. 2 sips out of this little vodka cranberry cup. And I'm like, oh, what do I do? 2 sips, and I watch her face flush. And all of a sudden, like I look over and she's speaking really loud and like making jokes. And I'm like, whoa, like this isn't her. Like she doesn't make jokes. She's fucking terrified of people. Like she doesn't even talk. And I was like, it's already hitting her. Like 100%, I just knew that the drinks were all laced with something. And she starts like almost being like belligerent a little bit, but not in like a crazy way, just like really enjoying herself. And I'm like, that's not her. She doesn't even want to be here. Like, this is weird. And all of a sudden she like dismisses the studio host. Like, she's like, you can leave. And I'm like, oh my God, like what's going on? And the girls file out. They go to like a different studio, or they go somewhere. And I'm like, I have to do something. I have to do something. What do I do? And I go to get my phone where Kanye put it on one of the speakers. And as I'm going to get it, I turn and my manager's walking out. And I'm like, no. Like, where are you going? I'm already seeing people being like, this is cap. What do I have to gain? Let me just ask you, what do I have to gain? I'm in a fucking farm in the middle of nowhere. I'm not in the industry anymore. I'm not filing a lawsuit, so I'm not getting paid. I'm not looking for clout, because who gives a fuck about me? So why would I lie about this? This has been 9.5 years since this happened to me. Why would I? Let me go on. Whatever. Yeah, so I see her start to leave. And I'm like, where are you going? And she's like, it's fine, I'm just going to the bathroom. And I was like, no, stay. And she's like, it's right there, I'm just gonna go to the bathroom. And I was like, okay. And she walks out. And all of a sudden, I realize that I'm in this studio. The music's low, the lights are dim, but you can still like see everything. And I realize that I'm in the studio with Diddy and Kanye, and they're both off their shit. And there's 3 other men, an executive that works with Kanye, his engineer, and his cousin, and me, alone. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Okay. And I haven't started freaking out yet. Like, I know what the situation is. I know, I know this is a bad place to be in, but I don't really feel scared yet, you know? Like, cause I'm like, there's other people around, there's other men around, and I know them. Like, I've known them for a while. Like, nothing bad's gonna happen. And I'm standing there and I realize that so this is like a pretty like sizable studio. There's like the glass doors, the couch there, a console, another console, the screen, all of that. But it's like, it's pretty big, but you can still see and talk to everyone easily. And I realize that I'm standing really close to the exit. And it's a glass door and it opens in. And I'm standing pretty close to it. And I realize all of a sudden that Kanye and Diddy have realized that I'm the only girl in the room. And they're like fucked out of their minds. And they start coming towards me and they're like, don't you want to take your clothes off? Like, it's so hot in here. And I'm like, no, fine. I'm fine like this. And they're like, come on, like, it's just us. Like, we're all just friends. Like, let us just, like, see, like, how you look. And I'm like, okay, I'm fine. And, like, I still haven't gotten scared yet, you know? Like, I'm still, like, this is a bad situation. I'm creeped out, but, like, there's no reason to panic. There's other men here. Hold on a second. Real-time feedback. Yeah, so they're coming towards me, and I'm like, okay, this is fucked. I don't know where my manager is. I don't know where anyone is. And they're coming towards me more, and they're trying to, like, take my clothes off. And I'm like at that point where I'm like, this is not good, but I'm like still trying to like play it off. Just like, stop, you guys are fucking stupid. Like, get out of here. Like, don't touch me. Like a little bit scared. Did this just freeze? Okay, no, it's back. Okay, so let me just get to the point. So they start trying, like, they're like pawing at me. Like, they're both drunk, probably on something else. And I start to get a little bit apprehensive because I'm pretty much like backed up against the wall. Like, there's only one exit and I'm pressed up against this door. And I'm still not completely terrified yet, but I'm like, you guys stop, like, stop. And they're getting to the point where they have like ripped my shirt off. And like, I'm like almost fully exposed at this point, and they're both coming at me, and I'm like, you guys, like, seriously, this isn't funny anymore. And I look to my left where his executive is. Like, we know him pretty well. Like, we've been around him a lot. He's literally 3 feet away from me. Like, if I reached and he reached too, like, we could touch. Like, he's that close. And I look and I'm like, hey, like, I give that look where I'm just like, come on, like, step in, like, this isn't cool, like, you're a grown man, like, you're like 50 years old, I know you have a family, like, you know this isn't right, like, do something. And this is the part that for as long as I live, I will never fucking forget. It isn't actually the aspect of being sexually assaulted. That's not what haunts me. It's this. It's as these two grown men were pawing at me, trying to take my clothes off, I look over to this man asking for help, and I literally mouth the word help. And we lock eyes. And he looks away. I'm like, okay, there's still 2 more men in the room. And I look to his engineer next, who's sitting right next to him. And I know that he's married, and he just had a little baby girl. And I'm like, okay, he's gonna do something. And I look at him next, and I'm like, okay, like, do something, say something, do anything. And he looks down at his phone and starts texting. And then I was like, oh, fuck. I look at Kanye's cousin next, and I'm like, do something, you know, like, fucking do something. And he spins his chair around. And that's when that, like, gut-wrenching fear set in. And I was like, oh, shit. No one's fucking saving me tonight. No one's gonna do anything. No one's gonna do fucking anything. And that's when I was truly fucking scared. At this point, they had ripped my shirt off, and they were trying to get my pants off. And I realized that I was completely alone. And I closed my eyes for a second. And I was like, God help me. What do I do? And as my eyes were closed, this is going to sound weird, because I bet a lot of you are wondering, like, how the fuck did you get out of this situation? My eyes were closed, and I prayed, and I said, God help me, what do I do? And it was like it was like clear as day. I heard this in my head, and it didn't make any sense. I heard, go towards them. And I was like, oh, fucking great. The one time I asked God for help, Satan answers, because why the fuck would I go towards these two predators who are sexually assaulting me? Like, why would I do that? And then all of a sudden it clicked. My back was up against the glass wall. I could not go any further back. That was the only exit. He said, go towards them. They were already drunk off their shit. They were fucked up. So I lunged forward. I stepped forward. And it like threw them off balance. Like they were like, oh, you know, and like they stepped back at least 1.5 feet. And the moment that they did, I reached behind my back. I pulled the door and I slipped out, grabbing my clothes. And I ran across the hall, across this corridor, and I hid inside of an empty studio that was black. And I sat there for like 25 minutes, just like crying, like, what the fuck do I do? And I'm texting my manager and she's not answering. And eventually, I don't think I'm supposed to say this next part because it could hurt her case, but basically, everything she fucking said is true, basically. Because what I saw next, I fucking saw it. I was the only one who wasn't drugged. I was the only one who didn't drink their drinks, whatever it is. I was the only one. So I saw what happened next and who was involved. And that's why I'm a part of this lawsuit and like named in it. And yeah, it just, that, I mean, I eventually got us both out and I got us in an Uber, and she obviously didn't remember anything because she was drugged and I wasn't. And apart from the aspect of, you know, looking for help and they turned away, the only other thing that really, really fucks with me is, what about all those other girls that were there? Those 9 other girls who were drinking the drinks before we even got there. Like, I know none of them got out. I know none of them got saved that night. And I'm like, did they even fucking remember? Did they even know what happened to them? Moral of the fucking story, stay out of the industry. If you have daughters, make sure to tell them that their idols, they should never meet and should never fucking go to the studio with anyone, even if you're invited there as an artist, unless you have a bodyguard with you. You know, I thought I'd feel better after telling that story, but I really don't. But I guess the point is that, I mean, the same shit happened with Cassie. As soon as she said what happened, no one believed her and they gave her so much shit. And it wasn't until videos came out and more people stepped forward that people were like, oh, she was telling the truth. And I'm here to warn you guys that more people are going to come forward. So believe her when she's talking right now. Because it's the truth. You know I have nothing to gain from this. If anything, I'm making myself a bit of a target for shit that could come. And I hope that's not the case. Yeah. Anyway, that's one of the main reasons that I almost lost my love for music and I got the fuck out of that place. Because I was so lucky. I could have had it a lot worse. A lot worse shit could have happened. I could have drank that drink and who knows what could have happened. So I'm very blessed and very lucky that I got out of that situation. But I feel so bad for the women who I saw in that studio that night that didn't get out. And I pray for them every day because I always think about it. So yeah. God, strike me down right now if I'm lying. So I don't know if that resonated with any of you or was a good idea to tell that story, but yeah. Women, support the truth. And I'm very blessed that I am where I am and I got the fuck out and I'm living on a farm now surrounded by goats. God protected me. But anyway, that was the G-rated story, and I'm not ever going to tell anyone the other story because it wouldn't do anyone any good. But yeah, I hope you guys got something out of that. I hope all these fucking men go down for what they've done. Okay. I'm probably going to go. Because I don't think I should read these questions. It's probably going to make me upset. But yeah. Thank you for listening. I love you guys. The nice ones. Okay. I see some mean comments, but mostly nice ones. All right. I love you. Bye.